Welcome back. My name is Patrick Nolan. I'm an attorney licensed in the state of Missouri. This is Pat Talks Law. I was going through some old files, putting stuff away this past weekend in between camping with Boy Scouts and prepping for today's court. And I noticed a couple old cases of mine, and I had to pop a video in and rewatch it. In the video, the police officer is telling my client, look, you have a right to remain silent, and I really recommend that you use it. And that's what I want to talk about today. Remaining silent. Silence is powerful. You know, if you look at sales training, one of the things that they teach you in sales training is to simply stop talking. You ask the subject a question, and then you wait. It is natural for human beings to fill gaps in silence and talk. The person who is talking is losing. For example, when buying an old business of mine, I had talked to the guy at the Chamber of Commerce, and the sales guy came around in Springfield, Missouri. You know, he mentioned the price. One of the last things he did, he sat down and talked to me about what a great investment joining their chamber was, and the price was relatively high. And he let the price down, pulled out the application, and just waited. And I'm sitting here thinking, man, I can't afford to say that. I can't afford it. I didn't want to tell him I couldn't afford it. Holy cow. You know, I mean, what kind of businessman am I at that time when, you know, I was inquiring about the Chamber of Commerce, and then they came out and wanted to hit me. It was like $500, $700 a year, something like that. I mean, it wasn't excessive, but, you know, I was just getting my business off the ground. We were making a little bit, but, you know, I was adding staff. I wasn't making any money. So, man, it was an uncomfortable silence. And I'm telling you, I wanted to just pay him and end the silence. Silence is powerful. Now, police officers will do that to you. They're trained that way too. They know that silence is powerful. They're going to ask you a question, and then they're going to wait. And they're making note of all your shifting and your body language while you're sitting there. Whether it is indicative of dishonesty or a guilty mind. So, remaining silent, unfortunately, the Supreme Court has taken away your right to remain silent. You have to actually now say, I'm choosing to remain silent, and I'd like my attorney. There was a case, and I'm sorry, I can't put my finger on the name of it right now, but a few years back, where they held that it didn't violate a person's right to remain silent when a police officer accused them of a crime and the person didn't protest. The officer attempted to call that an admission of guilt. The defendant, because a reasonable person would protest. I didn't do it. However, this guy was protecting his right to remain silent. So, in court, the prosecutor had asked about that, and the officer said that, you know, I asked him if he did it, and, I accused him of committing this crime, and he didn't deny it. Well, that led to a bad Supreme Court ruling. So, if you are talking to the police, one, that's a mistake. You're not talking. But if the police are talking to you and they accuse you of something, your response should be, I am exercising my Fifth Amendment right to remain silent. I will not answer questions without an attorney present. I do not wish to speak with you. Am I free to go? Okay? If you're not free to go, they're going to tell you you can't leave. Or they're going to evade the question. You know, look, we're just talking here. If a police officer comes back, if you ask point blank, am I free to go? And they get equivocating, listen, we're just talking here. Okay? You ask them again, point blank, if I walk out this door, are you going to arrest me? If they say anything other than no, they're most likely going to arrest you. That's fine. You tell the officer, I'm done. If I'm not under arrest, I'm leaving. If they're at your door, I'm done. If I'm not under arrest, you're leaving. Goodbye. If you're on the street, am I free to go? Listen, we're just talking right now. Thank you. I don't desire to talk to you. Have a nice day. Okay? If you're not free to go, they'll stop you from leaving. Now, don't resist. Don't resist. But make sure you ask, am I free to go? Don't just walk off, because that's how you get a resisting charge. If the officer says, no, you're not, you're staying there. If the officer says yes, walk away from the encounter. If the officer says anything between no and yes, your response is, I don't wish to have a consensual conversation with you. I don't want to talk to you at all. Are you detaining me, or am I free to go? Now, the officer may give you a runaround. You're going to have to make a decision. Are you going to risk a resisting arrest bit, which, under those circumstances, should be eminently beatable by leaving, or, you know, are you just going to leave? Walk away. Okay. You've not said whether I'm not free to go, so I'm assuming I am. Have a nice day. I don't want to talk to you. Goodbye. And step away. That's not that difficult. Now, they have you in interrogation, they're asking you questions. The officer's going to ask you questions. You have to say, if they make any accusations, I'm exercising my Fifth Amendment right to remain silent. I will not answer questions without my attorney present. I want my attorney. And then be ready to follow through on that. But, I mean, practice it. It's a mantra. If you practice it, you'll remember it. If you don't practice it, you won't. Practice makes permanent, not perfection. Okay? So practice it and make it permanent. I do not answer questions without my attorney present. I want my attorney. I'm exercising my Fifth Amendment right to remain silent. I will not answer questions without my attorney present. I want my attorney. mean, there are some bounds of reality that come up on this too. I mean, look, if a cop walks up to you and says, you know, think it's gonna rain later? I mean, yeah, you can go all out and be a dick, but really, small talk about the weather is not usually guilt-seeking. I mean, you don't have to be a jerk. If you don't want to talk to a guy, just say, I don't know, and walk off. You know, you don't have to provoke a confrontation, which is that next step. Look, police should be trained to de-escalate confrontations, but in reality and what you've seen from, you know, miles and miles of film that's being played all over YouTube, is that you need to understand how to de-escalate a confrontation too, okay? If a police officer comes up talking to you, they probably have a reason for that. Not many are that friendly that they're just walking up talking to everyone they meet. Hey, how you doing? What's going on? Gee, that's an awfully IED-shaped backpack you have there. Oh, yeah, that's cool. You know, I have one just like that. No, they're not. You know, you notice the IED in that sentence. Look, the reality is that police officers are human beings, man. Sometimes they're going to get bored on the job and they're going to want to talk to somebody. Yeah, pretty much anybody. Sometimes they're just going to be friendly. They see friendly faces around. They stop, they say hi. You know, there are a lot of really great police officers out there. People you would be fine. You know, they make fine neighbors, good people. Okay? What we're talking about isn't even necessarily a bad police officer. It's how to protect yourself in responding. When you're responding to the questions, you shouldn't be. You don't answer questions without your attorney present. And if you have a decent attorney, he's going to tell you not to answer any goddamn questions. Had a kid charged with murder come see me. Police wanted to talk to him. And I'm like, dude, don't do it. Don't talk to him. He said, why? Police come and talk to you about a murder. Okay? They think you are that you are a suspect in this. Don't talk to them. There's nothing that you can say that's going to help you. He's like, well, I'm like, man, they're driving halfway across the state. They're not doing that if they didn't think that you were a target of the investigation. They talk to you on the phone if they thought you might just happen to have a little bit of information they needed. He's like, okay. So he wound up and he didn't talk to him. Listen to me. Thank God. Then turn around, his pop calls me the next day. He wanted me to meet with them when he told them that he wasn't going to talk to them. So, you know, he said that. They canceled the meeting. The police officers did. They got a warrant, arrested him, charged him with murder. Then he went and hired a different attorney. What the hell, man? No, actually, I think he got a public defender because he wasn't able to afford my rate. And that's understandable. But, you know, that's just it. Is you've got to be... Had he spoken to those police officers without an attorney, he very well might have said something that could have led to his conviction. I don't know how the case turned out. I haven't followed it. But, you know, it only takes a small comment. Anyway, that's all I have today. I'm going to see if I can get around this semi in front of me, a grain truck that's, you know, doesn't know what the speed limit is. So please hit like, subscribe, and I'll be talking to you again soon. Thanks.